Deep in the heart of Louisiana lived Aunt Julie Brown. She was a woman of mystery. Her eyes held ancient secrets. The secrets whispered of magic and spirits. Aunt Julie was a voodoo priestess. Her small cabin was near the murky waters of Bayou La Fourche. The air hung heavy with the scent of her rituals. Herbs, spices, and strange ingredients filled the room. Locals sought her wisdom. They feared her powers. Aunt Julie healed the sick. She guided lost souls. Her connection to the spiritual realm was undeniable. She was a beacon of hope. She was a harbinger of the unknown. Louisiana in the 1900s was a world of its own. The air was thick and humid. The scent of magnolias hung heavy. Jazz music drifted from courtyards. Life moved at a slower pace. The bayou was the soul of Louisiana. Its murky waters held secrets. Ancient cypress trees rose from the swamp. Their roots clawed at the sky. The bayou was beautiful. It was dangerous. It was home. Life in the bayou was simple. People lived off the land. They fished in the rivers. They hunted in the swamps. Life was hard, but it was honest. The people were strong. They were resilient. They were connected to the land. One hot summer day, Aunt Julie fell ill. Her breaths grew shallow. Her skin, usually vibrant, turned ashen. The life was draining from her. The townsfolk whispered. They feared what her passing might bring. As Aunt Julie lay dying, the wind began to pick up. The sky, usually a brilliant blue, darkened. The once gentle breeze became a furious wind. The bayou, usually tranquil, churned restlessly. A sense of dread filled the air. The animals grew quiet. The birds stopped singing. Even the insects seemed to disappear. The bayou held its breath. Something terrible was coming. Aunt Julie breathed her last as the storm hit. The wind howled like a banshee. Rain lashed against the houses. The bayou, once serene, became a raging torrent. The hurricane had arrived. The storm raged for days. Homes were ripped from their foundations. Trees snapped like twigs. The bayou rose higher and higher, swallowing everything in its path. The townspeople huddled in their homes. They prayed for the storm to pass. Fear etched on their faces. They had never seen anything like this. Was this Aunt Julie's doing? Had her death unleashed this fury? Section 5. Trapped in a watery grave. When the storm finally subsided, the devastation was immense. Homes were reduced to rubble. The streets were rivers of debris. The sweet scent of magnolias was replaced by the stench of decay. The bayou had transformed into a treacherous expanse. The water, usually clear, was now a murky soup of mud, trees, and debris. The current was swift and deadly. Many had perished, drowned in their homes, swept away by the flood. The survivors picked through the wreckage. Their faces were etched with grief and despair. Section 6. Gators in the murky depths. The survivors faced a new danger. Gators, displaced by the flood, prowled the waters. Their eyes, like black marbles, glinted in the murky water. Their jaws, filled with razor-sharp teeth, were a constant threat. The gators were everywhere. In the flooded streets, underneath the wreckage, even in the trees. They were hungry. They were disoriented. They were dangerous. The survivors lived in fear. They knew that every step they took could be their last. They armed themselves with whatever they could find, knives, axes, even sticks. But against the power of a gator, they were no match. Section 7. A glimmer of hope in the storm. Despite the devastation and danger, the spirit of the bayou people endured. They helped each other. They shared what little food and water they had. They clung to hope. A group of survivors banded together. They were a mix of ages and backgrounds, but they were united by their will to survive. They knew that their only hope lay in reaching higher ground. They set out on makeshift rafts. Navigating the treacherous waters, they dodged debris and avoided the lurking gators. Fear was their constant companion. Hope was their guiding light. Section 8. The bayou's relentless spirit. The journey was fraught with danger. The current threatened to capsize their rafts. Gators stalked them from the murky depths, but still, they pressed on, driven by the will to live. They faced each challenge with courage and ingenuity. They used their knowledge of the bayou to their advantage. They found strength in their shared purpose. They refused to give up. The bayou, once their home, had become their adversary, but it was also their teacher. It taught them resilience. It taught them the true meaning of community. Section 9. Life after the storm. After days of struggle, the survivors reached higher ground. They were battered, they were bruised, but they were alive. They had survived the storm. They had conquered the bayou. The hurricane had taken so much. Homes, loved ones, a way of life. But it had also revealed their strength, their resilience, their unwavering spirit. The bayou people rebuilt their lives brick by brick, day by day. They honored the memory of those they lost. They embraced the future with a newfound appreciation for life. The storm had passed, the bayou endured,